again. Okay, today's story is very exciting, so I want to get to our rules first. And I know by now you guys know these rules, right? So the first rule we know is to be kind, and I'm sure you've been doing that. The second one is to be helpful. Think about it. Can you think of one thing you did this week that you were helpful to someone else? Okay, and the third one is be a reader. And I know that you guys are reading lots. I've been telling everybody I know how proud I am of you, so good job. And the last one is clean up. So if you made the rain stick from one of the other episodes, did you clean up right after you were done? Yeah? Good. Very good to hear. Are you leaving stacks of books or maybe toys on the floor in your room or the living room that maybe after you're done here, you're going to go clean up before you do your writing? Okay, that would be a good thing. So today's book, before I introduce it, is by the same author and illustrator that did The Koala That Could. And the author of this book was Rachel Bright, and the illustrator was Jim Field. And I know how much you love that book. So today's book is The Lion Inside by the same author, Rachel Bright, same illustrator, Jim Field. So let's get to our book. Very excited. In a dry, dusty place where the sand sparkled gold stood a mighty flat rock, all craggy. And that's like uneven and maybe sharp. Craggy and old. And under that rock, in a tiny full house, lived the littlest, quietest, meekest brown mouse. We're going to look really close at his little house now. He was so very tiny, so incredibly small, that nobody noticed him ever at all. He got stepped on and sat on, and he missed out on stuff, ignored and forgotten. This mouse life was tough. Meanwhile, far above on top of the rock, times were quite different. It was lion o'clock. This huge toothy creature made sure everyone saw how important he was by how loud he could. Bet you know what he's gonna do. Roar! He was head of the pack. He was shouty and proud. He loved flexing his biceps and wowing the crowd. Yes, all were impressed by this mighty king cat. If only, thought Mouse, I could be more like that. Then late one dark night, in his tiny mouse bed, the cleverest thought popped into his head. He leaped up in the darkness and held up a paw. I've got it, he said. What I need is a roar. I mean, what if this mouse, with the weeniest squeak, were a little more grrr and a little less meek? Well, he'd still be the smallest of fuzzy brown mice, but he'd make friends and join in, and life would be nice. Yes, thought the mouse. I must find out how. I will learn how to roar, and I will learn it now. But it wouldn't be easy. There was only one beast who could teach him this thing, but might make him a feast. It was time to be strong. Take a chance. After all, forever was such a long time to feel small. So he made himself brave, and he thought like a winner. He set off for the top, hoping not to be dinner. It felt like the scariest thing he could do. But if you want things to change, you first have to change you. farther he climbed, the closer he got to the slumbering lion reclining on top. Then at last he stood on his tippity toes. He found himself suddenly nose to nose. Pardon me. Wake up, Mr. Lion. You've got company. Mr. Lion, what I've come to you for is, wait, do you think you could teach me your roar? A silence befell that twinkling plain. Lion opened his eyes and puffed out his mane. Time went so slowly it felt like a week. Then he opened his mouth and let out an eek! The lion curled up in a terrified ball. He didn't like this, not one bit at all. Don't hurt me, he whimpered. Oh, try to be nice. Well, this mighty great lion was frightened of mice. Don't worry, Mice peeped. I'm here as a friend. Let's hang out together, be pals to the end. That was a magical moment for sure, when the mouse didn't feel at all small anymore. He found his true voice and learned to speak out. And for that, you don't need to roar or to shout. And from that day always, the two were a pair. They both liked that rock better now that rock was to share. The mouse, while still little, felt big in his head. And Lion, he still roared, but with laughter instead. Yes, that day they both learned that no matter your size, we all have a mouse and a lion inside. For today's writing, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pick your favorite part of the book, all right? Now, we talked about how books have beginnings, middles, and ends. So talk it over with your mom and dad or your brother, sister, or someone in your house and find out really what was the beginning of the story. Remember, at the beginning, it's when we get introduced to the character in the story, and in this case, the first character we met was the mouse. And then we went to the middle of the story, and that usually is when there's a problem that happens and there needs to be a solution or an answer to that problem. They got to figure it out in the middle of the story. And then at the end, we find out what happened after the problem was solved, okay? So try to pick your favorite. Was it the beginning, the middle, or the end? What was your favorite part, okay? Happy writing. Write as much as you want on it. I know you can write more than 2 sentences. So have fun writing, and I will see you soon. You're all mice and lions, okay? We can be both.